If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Google it if you want to know more. Any day, any time.
And you turned on Netflix that night. We were like, holy f***, I'm about to see the greatest live sporting event of all time.
Dana White has confirmed the highly anticipated showdown between Jake Paul and Andrew Tate. And this is the fight we've all been waiting for. Unlike Jake's usual stunts against washed-up opponents, this time he's facing Tate, a fighter who's not only in his prime, but also knows how to land powerful punches that sting both physically and mentally. This isn't just another paycheck bout. It's a real test for Jake Paul, and the stakes have never been higher. Get ready for a clash of titans. This fight has a purpose. Tate is out to avenge Mike Tyson's legacy while exposing Jake as more of a PR gimmick than a true fighter. Someone with inflated muscles fueled by hype and possibly a little help from the needle. Tate's aiming to shatter Jake's carefully crafted image.
Don't worry about Conor McGregor you up. Don't worry about Floyd Mayweather you up. You only want to lose to them so you can say, well, I lost to Conor McGregor. Why don't you lose to an old man who's retired? I live in the real world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport.
Dana White confirmed the fight and revealed a bombshell. Andrew Tate's motivation is personal. This fight means more.
You know, there's a lot of, in Portnoy went out and said that it was the greatest con job of all time. I mean, if you didn't think that that's the way the fight, I don't know what people expect.
Tate accused Paul of disrespecting not only Tyson, but the entire sport of boxing. For Tate, it wasn't just an underwhelming fight. It was an insult to every warrior who's bullet-broken bones or been knocked out cold in their pursuit of greatness.
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Jake's fight with Tyson was more theater than sport. Tyson, nearing 60 and wearing a knee brace, still gave Jake a run for his money. But did Jake walk out humbled? Absolutely not. He strutted around like he'd just unified all the belts, crowning himself the greatest showman in boxing. The backlash was swift and brutal. Critics called it a farce, fans ripped him apart online, and even Tyson's supporters felt their idol had been reduced to a pawn in Jake's endless clout chase. Enter Andrew Tate, stepping out of retirement like a gladiator from the Coliseum, ready to do what Tyson couldn't, shut Jake Paul up for good.
Where his head's at in life in terms of what he wants to do.
Okay, but you didn't answer the question. Do you have any interest in it?
I don't know. I mean, Andrew has messaged me over the past few days, and
Tate's approach is anything but subtle. He's made it clear that Jake needs a reality check, and he's eager to deliver it. Forget Instagram press conferences or fake smiles. Tate's betting $3 million of his own money on this fight. Winner takes all. For him, this isn't about a paycheck or a stunt. It's a statement.
Yeah, he'll never do that, though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
he's
two,
not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better.
Tate's fight is a bold reminder that boxing belongs to real fighters, not one of influencers with bloated egos and questionable training. With 4 world titles, decades of grit, and a highlight reel that screams danger, Tate's credentials back up his big talk.
Do it. Let's do it. No, seriously. I'm about the action. Like I'm less talk now. Let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania. We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want.
2 brothers, 1 cage.
And then there's Jake. Oh, Jake. The talking, walking embodiment of a modern boxing era no one asked for. Fresh off his Tyson escapade, Paul did what he does best. Dismissed the criticism and doubled down on the theatrics. He waved off the backlash as jealousy because obviously, anyone who doesn't worship Jake Paul must be bitter about his success, right? He even mocked Tate, calling him a washed-up kickboxer, and couldn't resist taking shots at Carl Froch while he was at it. That's Jake's playbook. Drag people into his circus, throw out a few insults, and laugh all the way to the bank, regardless of the damage. Here's the twist. This time, Jake isn't just playing the villain. He's walking a razor-thin line between being a loudmouth thriving on controversy and a fighter desperate to prove he's more than just hype. A loss to Tate won't just dent his ego, it'll crack the very foundation of his empire built on carefully orchestrated fights and viral moments.
Champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. There is a shield in the
We all know Dana White isn't just a promoter, he's the chess master of combat sports. Jake Paul versus Andrew Tate, that's his latest checkmate. Word is, White had finally had enough of Jake's circus act. Years of influencer-driven boxing turning serious fighters into memes. Instead of rolling his eyes like the rest of us, White saw the chaos and thought, let's steer this shipwreck. He stepped in, crafted a shiny narrative, and voila, Jake Paul is now set to face a man who isn't here for clout, but for blood. Enter Andrew Tate, a fighter with real credentials and enough disdain for Paul to power the entire Vegas Strip.
Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a
White didn't sugarcoat it either, calling the fight the ultimate blend of skill, spectacle, and storytelling. A fancy way of saying it's going to be brutal, but you'll love every second. And when Dana White talks like that, you know he means business. This isn't just about throwing punches. It's about crafting a spectacle so massive it'll drag combat sports out of the influencer mud Jake Paul has been stomping around in. Dana's fingerprints are everywhere, from brokering peace between the two camps, since Jake's team likely wanted every advantage, to making sure the fight rules didn't evolve into a TikTok challenge. White's involvement has transformed what could have been a cringy social media spat into the fight everyone's talking about.
Jake is actually quite a nice guy. I met Jake and he's actually quite a nice guy. I wanted to jump back in there and teach him all a lesson. And there were some fights on the card, some big fights for me being organized in November.
Let's not pretend Dana's just here for honor and glory. He's a numbers guy. Jake's Tyson fight, yes, that disaster, still pulled in 65 million viewers and raked in over $18 million in ticket sales. The fight might have been a train wreck for boxing purists, but for Dana, it was a gold mine. However, here's the catch. If it flops, it drags everyone's credibility down, including his. So, being Dana, he stacked the deck. Andrew Tate isn't just a random name on a spreadsheet. He's the kind of fighter who doesn't pull punches, in or out of the ring. This fight is set to deliver, and Dana knows it.
While you're next training, I know you're only 18 days away from a fight, but next time you're training and you want some sparring, fly to Romania and we'll spar and we'll film it and we'll decide if we want to release it or not afterwards. But I have no problem. We can have a sparring match anytime. That's easy,
let's
right?
do it. Let's do it, guys. I'm down for that, but we can't. But we can't release it for free. That's like, it's like giving the people what they want.
Tate, on the other hand, has made it his mission to call out Jake Paul for every misstep, inflated ego moment, and poorly choreographed win. For Tate, Jake's career is nothing more than a reality show with gloves, while Jake's fans tweet about his revolutionary impact on boxing. Tate is reminding everyone that real fighters don't pad their records with retired athletes and gimmick matches.
I really dislike Jake Paul. Now, I don't dislike him, I understand him. I want to make something clear. I would still kick the living out of Jake Paul. I'm not some washed up UFC fighter. I'm not smaller than him. I would beat the living shit out of him. If he wants to fight, I'll fight him. However, I do understand what he's doing. I understand that he is very, very smart, even with his marketing angle. I'm just a YouTuber. You're not just a YouTuber. You're a full-grown man. You're the best coaches in the world. He's dedicated his life to learning how to box for you. You know how to box. You're not a complete amateur. You know how to box very well. 3, 4, 5 years of training combat sports. You can box.
Tate has been especially vocal about Jake's Tyson fight, calling it a cash grab and a stain on Tyson's legacy. Tyson, wearing a knee brace and struggling to get into the ring, was met with Jake strutting around like he'd beaten Prime Tyson. For Tate, that wasn't just disrespectful, it was an insult to boxing itself. According to him, Jake belongs in a clown show, not in the same conversation as legends.
Let's say he would call you to fight. Would you take it?
Yeah, I mean, Jake and I actually talk. He's an all right guy. There was a time we were talking about fighting each other, and I think if this arrest didn't happen, it probably would have come to fruition. We'll see what happens in the future. We'll see. Perhaps.
Tate isn't all talk. He's mastered the art of psychological warfare, tearing into Jake's reputation at every turn. From branding him a fraud to mocking his amateur theatrics, Tate's strategy is as calculated as it is relentless. He's out to strip Jake of his bravado, piece by piece, until all that's left is insecurity and regret. But here's the kicker. It's not just words. Tate has promised a reality check like no other, vowing to show Jake what it truly means to face someone who doesn't see boxing as a quick cash grab, but as a test of everything: skill, heart, and grit. Meanwhile, Jake is still doing his usual thing, mocking Tate, dragging Carl Froch back into the mix, and being the loudest guy in the room. But let's face it, this time he knows the stakes. If he loses, it's not just his record that takes a hit, it's the entire empire he's built on bravado, hype, and a carefully curated roster of hand-picked opponents. For Jake, this fight isn't just another payday. It's a gamble that could either solidify his brand or blow it up in spectacular fashion. So here we are, Dana White pulling the strings, Andrew Tate delivering a masterclass in mind games, and Jake Paul standing at the edge of a career-defining cliff. This isn't just a fight. It's a battle for what combat sports will look like in the future. Will it belong to real fighters with scars to prove it? Or will the influencers keep running the show? One thing's for sure, when the bell rings, the gloves won't be the only things coming off.